7:01. Should we start? If Matt joins us, Matt joins us.
If Matt joins us, he joins in. You're good. Oh,
Excellent. Okay. I see no public for public comment. So why don't we move right along to, oh, here we go. There's Matt.
there he is. Matt's in.
You just missed the introduction of hello. So
Oh.
we're just moving on to upcoming projects.
Cool. Let's go.
Ron, well, actually, we just named the chair of 5 groups. That's all we did so far, Matt. So you're chairing a few things. I hope you don't mind.
Thank you, Matt.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks. Yeah.
Okay, upcoming projects. Bruce, do you have anything, or you want to turn it right over to Ron, who's got a long list?
No, we can turn it over to Ron.
Okay.
Okay. So, well, Tuesday, I guess you're going to hear about my meetings too. Tuesday, I'm actually meeting with Jeffrey Porter, and we're going to talk about Bike Walk Farmington partnering with Parks and Rec so we can hold some of our events. I'm thinking about walking groups and bike rides and things like that. So he seemed kind of excited, if there's such a thing over email. But looking forward to that. So that'll be in Town Hall. CJ, I'll come to your office afterwards for a visit.
If you're looking for my office in Town Hall, you're going to be searching for a while.
Yeah, I haven't found it yet. Okay,
Neither
so
have I. They haven't told me where it is.
so here we go. Saturday, April 24th is the town cleanup day, which we are piggybacking with the trail cleanup day in Farmington. Avon has the same day. Simsbury might have the same day. I forget. Bruce might remember. But so every town's doing it individually, and we will be at Tungus Mead at oh boy,
Is it 10 o'clock, or does it start early?
no,
I think it's
I think it's
I'm pretty sure it's 8.
first.
I think it's 8.
Can I
think
share
it's
my
8.
screen, please? 8 to
Oh,
1.
sorry. Apologize. Give me a second here.
How do I not have that?
I've got it somewhere. I wrote it down. I think it's 8.
Hold on. Oh, I know. Hold on.
I think it was 8 to 1. So we're gonna. Well, everyone did get several emails, so we can always check that.
Or you can just look at the town website, which has it.
Okay.
8 a.m. 8 a.m. at Tungus Mead.
Okay, so I'll be there at 7:30 setting up the tarp. I'm also going to come up with a flyer explaining how BFF is now BWF and the changes, and hopefully try to recruit. We need a walking group. We need walkers for Bike Walk Farmington, if anyone knows of people in town that like to walk. I'm also going to reach out to the wheelchair community too for a representative. Anyway, okay, so that's that. I do have some volunteers. Oh, before I forget, Matt, I was wondering if you could ask Jeff, or if we can get, like, maybe they have a contest for most garbage. I don't know if he'd be willing to donate a gift certificate or a tune-up or something. I'm wondering if you could ask him for me.
Yeah, I can ask.
Okay, thanks. All right, Friday, May 13th is Union Bike to School Day. And I'll get the exact times, but we could use quite a few people because Neil was there last year and remembers very well how we did not have enough adult marshals along the way. And with the bridge the way it is now, we may actually have to find a go around. I haven't really mapped that one out yet with the condition of the bridge, so I'm not sure about that. But Friday, May 13th, we can use To get the time exactly, I'll find out. Just a couple hours, probably around 7-ish, 7:30.
I'll help you out.
We're out of
Ron.
there before 9, right?
Yeah, Ron, this is Neil. I'll help you out
You throw
again.
on a light for me, love.
Yeah. So, and then the following morning, we have Bike West District. We're doing it on a Saturday morning. We're going to try something a little different. The PTO is going to be very involved there. The times will be similar, and I'll find out exactly when. But again, it'll be, for our purposes, less than 2 hours. And let me just say right now, so the whole town can hear, that the Farmington Police Department could not have been more accommodating to us, and they're going to help us with both of those events, back-to-back events. So that's great.
Hey, Ron, what
yeah.
time on for Union Bike to School Day? What time?
So I will get back to you on that. Neil, do you remember, or CJ, was it?
It should be around 7. Matt, I think we usually get there around 7, depending
Yeah.
on where you're starting. We get to the start point, the parents start getting there, dropping off the kids in their cars, and then a lot of them drive to the school and meet the kids once they get to the school. Some join us on the ride.
But I will send out exact timelines for everything. Now, this next one kind of got pulled a little bit out from under me. I call it the fish ride. It's the Connecticut River Conservancy. It's World Fish Migration Day. And they actually partnered with another group in Farmington that has to do with the river shed? What do we have in Farmington that has to do with the river?
Farmington
group?
Farmington River Watershed Association.
Well,
Yeah,
there
it's,
you go.
Amy Petrus is the executive director.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay, so they have joined in with that. I will get times on that. It's going to be a ride just from the big parking lot right there across from River Road
What date is
to
that, Ron?
Canton. And along the way, they're going to stop and give little talks about the damming in the rivers and what the fish are doing and stuff like that. It should be interesting. They have no idea what they'll get for a crowd. It could be 10 people. It could be whatever. So that'll be the first year for that. We are going to have our tent right at that parking lot.
Ron, I didn't hear the
Yes.
date on that. What is the date on that one?
So that is May 21st, World Fish Migration Day.
That doesn't show up on my calendar, oddly enough.
It was kind of weird. Yeah,
That's because you don't have fins.
That's it.
that's too funny. So Bike New Britain is involved with that. Canton and Avon are involved in that as well. So we move on to, well, that's enough for now. While I'm on this right here, because I just noticed something, is I was just asked to ask about the porta potties, unless that comes up later.
No,
Oh,
Bruce,
you
you
can
wanna
ask
take it?
now. I've got
Okay.
I still have to
Laura,
order those.
okay. Is there any ETA?
No, I usually put those in around right before Memorial Day.
All right. Memorial Day. Okay. I think those are the events that are coming up through May. So that's all we'll deal with right now.
Great. Ron, let me go back to the Union School Walk. Was your goal, did you want to try and cross the bridge? And I don't know, Jeff, you might know the answer to this. How is the bridge open for foot traffic or bike traffic at this point? We can't hear you. You're on there. Jeff, you're on mute.
Yeah, I don't have an answer for that. I can try to find out though.
Okay. All right.
So
Is
if I,
there any-
sorry, so if I remember correctly, and you guys probably do too, I believe we had the same problem the last time we did it, which was actually 3 years ago, believe it or not. I think we had to use the wrong side of the bridge to cross, the open side right now. And we
Yeah,
pulled
they-
it off.
The
So,
problem is I don't know, they had some engineering issues. So as soon as that's fixed, they want to ramp that up, and I believe they want to start trying to redo the whole deck, so it could potentially change in the near future. So I don't know the answer for that.
okay, so I think what I'll do is come up with a plan B for that. As far as the route goes.
Yeah, and Ron, and from what I'm told, the sidewalks will be open. There'll always be one sidewalk open. So if using the sidewalk is okay, then that's the best way to go across. You know, they're never going to close sidewalks on both sides.
Right, which is what we did the 3 years ago, is we used that one
Yep.
sidewalk.
The south side
Um,
is closed, and the north, or not, sorry, the west side is open right now. The east side is closed, and that'll be closed for an extended period of time. They've got a lot of work on that side to do.
Which is
Yeah,
actually safer from the way we come, then you're not
Mhm.
crossing 177 and then crossing again, so.
Exactly.
That's what we did the last time, Ron,
Yeah,
because that's what we did the last time, the west side.
right, because we had the Wanderer who
Yeah, yep.
had his own ideas for her. I remember that.
Yep.
So as far as the West District route, boy, I'm trying to find a route. I've got 3 different alternatives right now. So that'll be about 2.5 miles. So,
Ron, Kristen just got volunteered to be a marshal.
oh, great.
Thank
Okay.
you, Kristen.
And then I'll lead the ride from the Highlands at least.
Great.
So I'll do that.
Oh, okay. Well, it actually starts in one spot. We start,
Okay.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess I'm going to be riding with Eli to that spot then.
Okay. Sounds good.
Good. So-
And then later on in the meeting, I have some other questions, but let's go through all this.
Okay. Any other upcoming projects anybody's got to add in there? Bruce, you want to go over the signs and just where we're at with the signs for that project?
Yes, I'm getting a couple more prices. I've got 1 or 2 prices now. We're just trying to round off to get a minimum of 3 prices per the purchase policy. So once we get the other one, we should be all set to go. So we're working with them as we speak. They're talking about once you sign it, they're saying it's going to be 4 to 6 weeks delay. So hopefully we'll get that soon.
Over here, comes out on TV.
Okay, thank you.
So I'm going to be away on vacation next week. So the plan is once I get back, hopefully I get that last proposal in, and then we can get this purchase order issued.
Great. Okay, how about the Trails Council topics for discussion?
Trails Council. So, okay. So if you can mark down August 20th, they're going to do the Canton Lobster Fest ride again, which was put on hold during COVID. I don't know if anybody did that in previous years. I did not. Maybe Bruce did, but
Yeah, I
it's
have.
supposed
I
to
have.
be a-
Yeah, it's fun. It's good.
Yeah. And the prices of lobster went up, so it's going to be, I forget what they say, Bruce, like 70 or 50?
No, 50, I think.
35 going for the meal, 15 to us, to
Yeah.
Rails Committee. And if anyone's interested, actually, we might change this date because Laura didn't realize it was Veterans Day. But in November will be the Farmington Valley Trails Council annual meeting. So it's always nice when
Yeah,
other people show up too,
that's November 11th.
so
Uh,
far, yeah,
At the Avon Senior Center.
right.
Let's see. June 11th is the member ride out of Granby. And the farm ride, which always gets a lot of support, interesting, is September 10th. And those are the Trails Council events this year.
Bruce, what is the
They've got
farm
a pretty full, or I should keep saying we have a pretty full calendar this year, finally.
By the way, Ride the State, that's New Haven to Southwick, June 25th. We've already got 80 riders. We're going to cap it at 150.
What is the farm ride, Bruce?
Farm Ride is a circuit that goes around to the various farms in Farmington Valley. I think they do 4, if I'm not mistaken. So it's a bike ride essentially to these operating farms. And what they do is they've got a box truck that follows them, and you can order or purchase anything you want, and they'll bring it along with the ride until the end of the ride, and then you get to throw it in your car along with your bike and bring it home.
Does that
It's a-
include fertilizer?
Yeah, it should. Yeah, I don't know whether it actually does, but it's very popular. They've been doing it for a number of years. It works very well.
When is that?
June 20,
No,
September
that's
10th.
that's September 10th.
And anything else with the Trails Council?
No, they're working on. They're still talking about the fact that they get a lot of questions about memorial benches, and the council now is trying to figure out how to vet that, how to deal with that, because there's an awful lot of trails and towns that are kind of the opinion they've got plenty of those. and so we're trying to figure out where to put them. You know, people want to put them in specific places, and
Hey, Bruce, would they consider doing something other than benches?
Yeah, we talked about that. So we talked about a bunch of different opportunities. For instance, putting in more fix-it stations with pumps at different intervals. The possibility of doing water fountains, although they're a lot more expensive. There was some talk about picnic tables.
Oh, I think we could put those in Burlington. They'd love that.
Yeah, no, we talked
Yeah.
about that too.
Yeah, there's a lot of towns that have outlawed picnic tables. It's one of those things where, we haven't figured out, really what to do about that. And then the other thing I want to mention was that we have a couple of kiosks that need repairs, and so we're going to work on that as well.
Yeah, because I was thinking the same thing. Have a little plaque on a big pavilion, or even like a shade pavilion with a whole bunch of names, dedicated to all these people, and just put it into one.
And we actually, years and years ago, 15, 20 years ago, that's exactly what we used to do. And we kind of got away from it because people wanted to have their own, standalone, thing.
Yeah.
You know what, though,
And,
guys? When I was out in Ohio last year on my tour, I saw some awesome rest stops with picnic tables, facilities all built in, and they were all dedicated to certain people. They had a plaque in there. Maybe I'll send you guys some pictures just so you can look at them, but it's kind of a cool idea.
Okay.
We're actually working on one in Simsbury right now that the Mitchell Family Foundation is donating, I think, 35 grand to. So it'll have bathrooms, it'll have a gazebo. So as that comes along, we get a design in hand. I'll get that to you folks. But we used to do, along with the Rotary Club, those beautiful pavilions. There's one at Red Oak Hill Road at New Britain Avenue lot. There's one. It's actually in Plainville, but at Northwest Drive, we did that one. They're beautiful, and the problem is, of course, that with the cost of dimensional lumber, that's pressure treated and cedar shakes and what have you. I'll bet those things are 50 grand now. Wouldn't surprise me.
Wow.
Okay.
Bruce, I'm showing June 4th for National Trails Day. Is that right?
Yep.
Or
Yeah, June 4th is National Trails Day. June 3rd, the Friday before, is the Connecticut Greenways Council Awards Day. We're
I
likely
remember that.
Yeah, I know you do. You got one of those awards.
Right up here behind me.
That's right. I gave it to you.
You did. Thank you.
So we're doing that again this year. I think we're going to hold it. There's a new trail in Groton. I think we're going to hold it down there.
Good. All right. Okay, we'll move to adjourn. No, what else do we have? Any other topics we're going to bring up?
So we're going to come up to the Bruce and I meeting for the things, and we're beginning to plan our next steps for the application with our third person.
Give me some dates, Ron.
Yeah.
Because my dance card is filling up here fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys will
We'll
get
take
some
care
dates.
of it.
You'll get together and update us next meeting, see how we're at, see if there's anything we need to do to help you out.
Oh, you're going to
Yeah,
need to do things. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to have a list together of what we think we need, what new stuff we think we need, because there obviously were some deficiencies last time. So we'll figure that out, and we'll get a list for the town.
Great, thank you. Because I saw it scrolling along on Andrews's list, the murals. We've got to get the most recent update from the high school, but I would expect within the next 4 to 8 weeks, we'll be talking about putting those murals up. So I'll keep you all informed and let you know when the timing is for that.
So should I shave for that? Is it, or?
Ron, I can't remember which look they had for you. I'll have to make sure so you look the same as you do on the mural.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I think it's the scruffy Che Guevara look. You need a beret. Yeah, I do that look. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, what else? Anybody have anything else?
Quick update on the Farmington Canal Heritage Trail. Southington's going to go to bid, I believe, next month. They finally got through permitting. Plainville 1 will go to bid this fall. They're very close to having that design complete. So that's up to Norton Park. So those two pieces will likely be constructed around the same time, which was never the plan. Southington was supposed to be done by now. And it's just been one constant mess for the last 4 years. And then Plainville 2 is in partial design right now. That's the piece going around Robertson, down across the river to the top of the town hall in Plainville. And then 3 is the hard one. Actually, I should talk more about 2. There's a lot of back and forth about this proposed tunnel under 72. There really isn't any good way to get over, or I should say at grade on 72. It's just too much highway. It's too fast. obviously, because it's elevated, you're not going over it, so you have to go under it. And they're hemming and hawing about that, mostly because of the cost. But inevitably, in my experience, what DOT does is they finally decide to bite the bullet, and if it's another $1 million, so be it. And they find the money somewhere. There's going to be 60% more transportation enhancement federal money in 23 than there was in 22. So the federal money is going to go from 9 to I think 16 million. So there's going to be more money in the system, and they'll probably have to program it to do that.
Bruce,
Oh,
what-
and
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was just wondering what the time frame was. You said Southington and Plainville 1 would be about the same time. Would that be next summer, do you think they'd be starting?
Yeah, they're scheduled to start next April.
Okay.
Yep. So 23, Southington, oddly, Plainville could potentially get done before Southington, because Southington has that big bridge over the river, and that bridge may take more than one construction season. The only thing that the Plainville design has is it's got 200 feet of boardwalk going north right off of Town Line Road. The boardwalk will take a while to build, but the rest of it's pretty easy. They just have to cut down trees on the towpath.
Nice.
Oh, hey, guys, I just sent you, I just sent everybody who got the email for tonight that picture of that rest stop I saw in Ohio. So it's on
Oh,
your
cool.
email. It's
Good.
pretty impressive.
Good.
And
I'll definitely.
it was done by the locals. They basically put it together with some of the local businesses. So, and it's the kind of thing you could put a plaque in there and people donate. And
Holy cow.
yeah, no kidding, huh? Isn't that something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that thing was really nice. Fresh water, restrooms, picnic tables, and
All
right
right,
across,
let's plan
right
on
across
where
the
we can-
street was an ice cream shop.
Well,
So where do you want to put it?
Well, Matt, one of the problems for us, and it's a perennial problem, is that because of the density and the population and the encroachment of housing and businesses and whatever it is, we don't have a lot of spare lands to build that stuff. It's actually fairly rare to find bits and pieces. Canton did something along the river because there was extra space next to let me see, their DPW there. So
Yeah.
they put in a few odds and ends. It's hard for us to find space. In fact,
Seems
that
like
that project in Simsbury, we're having trouble finding a place to put that.
Southington, it seems like Southington and Cheshire have done a really nice job with
Yeah.
facilities.
Well, Cheshire 3, which has that marvelous, those composting toilets and that,
Yeah.
beautiful lot and everything. That was just luck. The town happened to own that piece of land.
Okay.
And DOT also, by the way, happens to include it, in the construction package, which also doesn't happen that often either.
Yeah. But I mean, if you can run with an idea, you might as well give it a shot.
Oh, hell yes. Yeah, no, I agree.
The only other thing you can do is look for some areas outside of the right of ways that are, we'll say, unused properties that someone would be willing to either donate or give us a long-term lease for $1, that kind of stuff. That's the only other way you're going to get that done,
Well, that bill that did get out of committee that would allow a municipality to provide offset credits for taxes for land donations for right of ways. That's something that as a town we could say actually go to certain people that we know have got chunks of land along the right of way and try to play let's make a deal and put in essentially, because essentially, Matt, what you're talking about are pocket parks,
Yes.
and everyone loves them. If nothing else for the bathrooms, but it's just so nice to be able to picnic and, you know, all those things.
I was kind of thinking, you know, that one right off of New Britain Avenue at the corner of Red Oak Hill would be a good spot.
Well, and then we've also got the ball fields, you know, by the car wash. You know, once we get that grade going down and that connects up to the bike path.
Yep.
That's pretty good. And then on the other side of the river, at all the woods by Tungus Mead. I mean, as far as I know, Farmington owns that.
Yeah, actually, you know, that came up in a conversation the other day. That's a perfect place. You know, when we get that access, you know, when the grade comes down and we get the access to the playing fields, there's plenty of room there.
You know, and then it's a 2-for-1. It helps everybody with the kids playing ball, and then also all the bikers too, and the walkers, Bruce.
Okay, what else you got?
Just as long as I got you guys as a captive audience, I just wanted to let you know we did end up doing 3 bike races this year over at, you know, by the Trump Corporation. And we are going to manage to donate $1,000 to the Farmington CERT team, who has been of great help to us over there. So another successful season of bike racing. And Jeff was great help too, obviously, Jeff Glaude. So thanks. Kudos to Jeff. Thank you, Jeff.
Good job, Matt.
Awesome. So going on the spreadsheet, so I don't miss anything. What's new on the grants so we could get on the list? Back in February, we said that Bruce will pass on money details to CJ so we can get our rec trails qualified for design. And then we can get money going.
So just so you're aware, on the Rec Trails program, that's HB, I think 5291. It passed unanimously. So out of committee. So it will be in the budget this year. And it went from 3 million to 6 million. So there's going to be a lot more money. So, you know, hopefully, you know, we can carve out some design money out of that. The key issue from my point of view is figuring out what that dollar amount actually is. And we've kind of gone back and forth about that. You know, maybe it might make some sense, you know, CJ and Bruce, you know, maybe we all talk offline about that and have a phone call and figure out, you know, who we need to talk to, whether it's DOT, whether it's their captive design guys, VHB and Weathersfield. But I know all the actors. It's just a question of who exactly we want to talk to figure out how to push it. Because pushing it forward really, well, okay, let me back up. If we want to do the signalization at the jug handle, for instance, that's a DOT project. You know, signalization is just purely, you know, the traffic engineers at DOT, and they have a set number for, you know, doing those projects. The trail project is a different project. The trail project, we really could do that with Rec Trails money. So I guess the question is, you know, let's figure out between the parties what needs to happen first. So that's kind of in your court, Bruce, to a certain extent.
Yeah, I
and then
mean,
we'll-
if you let us know when the RIC grant is gonna, you know, when the applications are gonna come out, I mean, we can get estimates fairly quickly. I don't think they're gonna let us go with like VHB or something. I think we're gonna have to go out for RFPs. Is usually how they do it. So we'll
probably
go
have
to an RFP.
yeah. Probably have to
So
do an RFP.
If the REC grant takes like design money, then let me know and we can figure out. We could talk to a few engineers and just have them throw us a number like for budget purposes.
Right, because ultimately that's the number we need, because that's the number we would publish. So
Exactly.
okay, so let's set up a meeting, CJ, at some point and just go through that and figure out, you know, what's the primary project, what's the secondary project, and line up, you know, what looks the best for for money out
Mhm.
there. If it's always an if the rec trails money, which as you know I'm heavily involved in, gets on the bond agenda in either May or June, that would be literally fiscal year 23 money, and Deep would put that RFP out like literally in July in fiscal year 23.
We got to be ready for it then.
So we have to actually get some work done. Yeah.
Okay.
If
Well,
you,
Um,
as
shoot
long
out
as
an
you're sure
email
that the,
to-
okay, sorry,
Yeah.
sorry, CJ, go ahead.
Bruce, why don't you shoot out an email to Bruce and I, and we'll set something up and sit down and talk about that.
Good.
So for this stuff, I mean, do all of our big projects qualify? We're talking about getting a path on the side of Route 4 to the jug handle, from the jug handle to, the back of, was it Irving Robbins neighborhood over there? The other road, and I mean, it's all off-road, so even though it's kind of on state land, but, so would all of that, is that kind of what our goals are for the rec money, or?
Well, yeah, I mean, yes. I mean, with a qualified yes, which is if we're in the state right of way on Farmington Avenue,
Yep.
that's de facto a DOT project, right? Because it's their land.
Yeah.
If, however, we're outside of the right of way, that's a different kettle of fish.
Can I
suddenly
just
that,
chime in with what I did?
yeah,
Go ahead, Rich.
At the last meeting, I was tasked with reaching back out to Mike D'Amico about the project, because it was my understanding from the last meeting that to be eligible for grant money for anything that involves the DOT, you need to get on their list of projects, which we're not. So I reached out to Mike D'Amico, actually from the last time I heard from, which was exactly a year ago. And what he told me a year ago was he was going to contact the DOT. And he also mentions the town manager. And so I reached out to him, basically asked him, I never did hear back from you, any update. And then I explained what I just said, in order for this to be a viable project, it has to be on DOT's project list or on their radar. So I asked him if he's done anything with that. If he hasn't, can he? So that we can make this project eligible for some of the federal funding that's available. So I just did this email a couple of days ago. And I tried to tie in a bunch of things that a politician might like to hear, like, oh, the cost of fuel is through the roof, inflation's through the roof, global warming is here. So all this money is available for these types of projects, and the state of the general health of the American people. So I tried to throw a lot at him, but basically asking him to reach out to the DOT if he never did, and try to get some footing to get this project on their radar. So that's what I did. I don't know if he's written back to me because this was at my work. I'll check tomorrow, but that's what I've done so far.
let me know if he gets back, because he was very helpful with some of those pieces of legislation. He's on the Environment Committee, and the Rec Trails money started out through the Environment Committee and went to Finance, and he was a big help. So let me know if I can help you with that, or if he doesn't get back to you, I'll head out and break his arms.
Yeah, well, I did mention your name in my email, and I mentioned
Good.
Bruce Sir's name. And I mentioned, the committee, and it's a line item on our committee as a project. And I also included that PDF of the project or the, I guess the PDF that Bruce supplied on the, what was done in 2018. I think it was the CROG study with all the different intersections, including the signal system at the jug handle. So I'll keep you all posted, but again, that was my understanding. We need to get this project on the DOT's list or radar, and it currently is not.
Is Mike D'Amico the best avenue we've got to get on the DOT list, or is it worth talking to Matt Bloom just to find out backdoor?
Yeah,
who the
no,
person is,
not-
or-
Yeah, not necessarily. I mean, ideally, head of engineering, I mean, it needs to kind of go up the food chain at DOT.
Yeah.
One of the things to do is if we get Mike on board, is to have him pen a letter to CROG, because ultimately the COGs are the ones that get these projects on the federal funding list. The state funding lists are a little different, but the COGs, we should definitely get CROG involved. And I'm involved with them. In fact, I just saw Tim Malone today in Hartford. So that's an easy ask to the COGs. And then, obviously, looking at some of the other grants out there as well, LOTSIP and some of the other ones. And that has more to do with Farmington, what they need to do other than this project, right? So, and the ball's kind of in Bruce's court on that, because, there's obviously other things that need to get done in town.
That kind of ties into the DOT projects, where we were going to identify the DOT projects, create plans, and back in February, Bruce, you said you spoke to VHB and they were interested.
Yep. But again, we would solicit them. If this was, if we found, a little pot of money for a design study, some schematics, I think we'd still, Bruce, I believe we'd still have to go out and do an RFP, right?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Because that's usually what the grants are. The grants don't let you just hire anybody. You do have to do some RFPs on that.
Yeah.
CJ, is this something that we can, have 50 grand or 100 grand a year put aside for grants that hopefully we get reimbursed for like design projects where we have it available, and then we hopefully get reimbursed for it? And then that way we don't have to, turn soliciting an RFP and getting all this stuff into, a months-long project.
We could get projects on our list in town with our strategic plan. And once we do that, we can commit dollars to it each year.
Okay.
And we could go in that direction, not going, just waiting and working through the state. We just have to commit to that at the beginning of the budget year.
Okay. Did we miss that window?
For this year, yeah.
Okay.
And the bigger issue this year is getting any of the work done. I mean, we've got a lot of items on our list that we just haven't been able to get supplies or contractors, and the supply chains held up a lot of things from previous years. So it's not like having the money right now would have helped us too much, because you have a hard time getting bids on a lot of things right now also.
Oh, I was just thinking for the design work.
Yeah.
No, I think
for next year.
Yeah, I think maybe we do put it in line next year, for a design. The problem, CJ is absolutely right. There's money floating around for construction, but the construction bids are coming in enormously high. It's almost like some of them are throwaway bids right now. And so, yeah, it's a good question. It seems like there's just a lot of delay right now for construction.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, the only problem is if you make a line item for like, let's say engineering, if we pay it out, we're not going to get reimbursed by the state or by the grants. Usually it's you need the money because because we need the money. It's not that, hey, I spent this and I want to get reimbursed. That's as far as I remember. So,
Yeah, there's only a couple of them that do it that way. Mostly it's a design grant that you can charge town engineering fees back to for the 20% match.
exactly. All right. I mean, if you guys want, like I said, we can set offline, and Bruce and CJ and we can all get together and kind of
Yeah,
chat this
let's
out a little bit.
let's
right.
bat this around and see what we can come up with.
All right. Anything new with bike building, CJ?
No, I haven't heard anything else from the schools
Okay.
on that.
Anything new with the Farmington PD programs? Frozen
None that
4
I'm aware
went
of.
off, so that's all set. Okay. Signage we talked about, water fountains, frost-free doubled in cost.
Yep. Still looking for a cheap one.
Okay.
So,
If we don't find one,
we may need a little more money. We'll see. And
Hey,
like
Bruce,
just
say-
like CJ say, the prices are going up, and it's
Yeah.
like it's out of control. So,
Well, at some point, when you make the decision that you think you need some more money, get back to me. The Farmington Valley Trails Council has got some money lying around. So does the Farmington Canal Rails Trail Association, and some other folks. I just recently talked to REI. They're interested in smaller grants of kind of 10 grand.
oh, that would be
God,
perfect for the water fountain. Slap their
You give
logo
me-
on it.
if you give me $5,000, I could probably make it work. Because I know we've got a few grand, so if we kind of split the cost,
Right.
that's all
Right.
I'm looking for. If you give me something like that, then we're golden. So,
All right. Let's set that up, because I don't think the prices are going to be going lower. Let's put it that way. So, I hate to just let this, flap in the wind if we can, find 4, 5, 6 grand and get it done.
me too. I can't tell you how many times I Googled water fountains.
Oh,
Look
I'll
at it,
bet.
millions of companies,
Yeah.
So,
Hey, Bruce, real quick, I noticed on my commutes, there's 2 brand new ones in Hartford. I think Riverfront Recapture put them in, one on the Mortensen Plaza and one over in Great River Park. I know Mike Zaleski, who's in charge of that park. Would it be helpful to reach out to him and find out where he got those?
awesome. If you talk to him and he wants to shoot us an email of what just the name of them or what he's got, that'd be great.
Yeah, okay, I'll reach out to him.
Yeah. Rich, CC me. I know Mike well too.
All right,
That may be a good call, is find out what they spec'd. I don't know what the
yeah,
manufacturer
they're
was.
really nice. It looks like they're like a 1/2 for drinking water, drinking right out of the fountain, the other half to fill a water bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
that's what I was actually pricing, a bottled fountain and a water fountain. So it's a mixture. It's a combo unit.
Cool. Complete Streets, did it get on to the end of the February agenda or March agenda?
No, it didn't. No, it didn't. I apologize. That's on me again.
Okay. We have time for April?
No, end of April, maybe. Let me find out.
Okay. Is that a matter of just getting it on TPZ and then saying, yes, we like it, here's your rubber
Yep.
stamp, and then we get our,
Yeah, I pretty much
points
got to
for
do that.
the-
And I got to.
and
Exactly.
then that'll
Yep.
help with the, league application too.
Oh, very much so. Yes.
Okay. Sidewalks, CJ, anything new on that one?
Nothing new in the process of doing the studies and seeing where the gaps are and how best to fill them.
Okay. Got the meeting scheduled, porta potties talked about, league talked about, connectivity. Anything new with West District or Midway?
No, Midway's gotten all their approvals, so, I think that's going to be coming up. I don't know if is there anything that's changed on that, Bruce?
No.
Yes.
As a practical matter, when would they start to work on the trail itself?
We've been talking about that. Matter of fact, we have a meeting with DOT. We're trying to set it up for maybe the beginning of May, just to kind of
Okay.
touch base with whatever easements that we need. And then based on that, we'll see where we go from there. They still need to get OSTA permitting. So they're not going to be doing anything until they get OSTA. That could take another, 3 to 6 months possibly. So I'm kind of seriously think it's going to be a fall project. I mean, if it's any sooner, then it definitely would be a surprise, but it would be good. So, and I'm thinking that may be one of the first things that they start doing. So,
Okay, good.
Murals talked about, anything with liability for the board members.
You can, going back to the West District path
Oh, sorry.
behind the school.
Yep.
I'm sorry, you can just cross that off. I rode it several times going downhill. It's just for a child, it's just way too steep, way too dangerous. I even changed the route for the ride that day because it's not a good cycling path. I even heard from someone that bikes aren't really allowed on it. Can't remember who told me that.
Okay. All right, well, good to know we can table that. Liability for Bike Friendly Farmington and the board. Anything on that? Ron, you're going to talk to Parks and Rec?
Right, so that may take care of some of those issues, but we as a board for Bike Walk, we have to regroup, get together,
Okay.
talk about it.
and Chair, if we're all set, there's one person now in the waiting room with their hand raised. That would like to talk to us.
Oh, cool.
Sure. Who is that?
It's Ned Stanchion. Are you
Oh,
there,
sure.
Ned? Let me see. Hold on. Ned, you're on mute. Mute him.
I'm here.
There you are.
Welcome, Ned.
Thank you. Yeah, I just wanted to take a minute of your time to, and I'm sorry I got in late, but I went to town hall first. I didn't realize it was online because if you go look on the calendar, it does say that it gives Monteith Drive, but then when you open up the agenda, it tells you it's online meeting, but I hadn't
Sorry
done
about
that
that.
yet. But I'm just wondering if anybody else shares my concerns with the 5% grade drop. I mean, I've been an engineer with DOT for 35 years, and I kind of seen that as a danger because with, when people coming down on a 5% grade, and then you throw in the interchanges on each side of that, I'm not sure why we didn't work more with trying to get keeping the main path level and just make a longer grade there, a ramp there, and even on one side, and then just bring the trail that's being added by the apartment complex, just continue on up, and make it along the adjacent to the river as it is on the in front of the apartment buildings. I just think that, and I'm not, I'm an engineer, but I'm not a bikeway designer by any means, but in 35 years, I can see something that, I'm thinking, majority of people would be fine, but older people aren't really used to their bikes. I think I see them picking up acceleration on, unanticipated acceleration, and then maybe getting startled by someone coming in from the side, and I looked at that, and then I don't know. I'm wondering if we should. I'm actually thinking of starting a petition to ask people to have the town to reconsider it. you know, going circling around on the baseball paths. And I think the connection is great. It's heavily needed. You know, I remember my kids asking if they could ride their bikes to back, you know, baseball practice, and wishing I could say yes, but you know, there was no safe way to ride on 177 and Route 4. And they could have done it if we had a connection to the bike trail, but I just don't know why. I mean, I personally, I think that the developer didn't want to cut into the number of apartments and the number of maximize the number of apartments and number of parking spaces.
Yeah, Ned, the problem with that is a lot of that is outside and it's within the floodway and the floodplain. So any kind of fill, we had looked at this when we first did the bike trail up top when we first paved that. We wanted to do some kind of a accessibility to get down to the fields, and 90% of that, or whatever, a large part of that was in the floodway. And when you do that, you have to do a compensation for every mile, for every cubic feet I fill, I have to actually take out. So it was causing some concerns with the floodway itself. So that's why we had to abandon that project. So this is really, in my eyes, the only possibility at this point that's viable. So
when you're saying you had to, in other words, I was thinking that you would have a ramp. The other thing is the reason that it's 5% is because normally you would spread that out over a little longer distance, but we're choked in between the Big Bird Bridge and the large the large bridge over the river. I just I don't know. I think that, and plus, you know, I don't know how long people are not going to be happy when they find out, you know, how long the bikeway gets closed down.
It's not going to be that long. But and then if you want, probably the best thing is we could talk offline. If you want to pop in one day or give me a call,
All
we
right.
can go at
Okay.
length about this and discuss it. You know.
Okay.
Bruce, let me ask you a question on that, still on the line. Is this something that Ned should be bringing up to TPZ? Because we clearly had no, you know, we haven't been involved in the design.
Well,
or anything.
it's already been approved. That's the
Yeah.
problem. It's part of the site plan approval, and the expiration period for to file an appeal has passed. So we
Okay,
can talk about it and
but
let's
in-
see. You know.
In general, his concerns, which, you know, it sounds like he's got some legitimate concerns. You know, we could advocate, you know, on his behalf and things like that, but it would be TP&Z would be the better place to bring it up to at a meeting and say, I understand this is passed, this has all been done, but here are my concerns. And he could have a conversation with you offline prior to that, just to see what may or may not be beneficial.
And TPZ doesn't have a public comment section. You know what I mean? They work on applications. There is no really area for them to discuss it. So I could talk to Ned offline. We can go over it. If there is an option that's available, we can definitely then talk with the developer and work on the side, you know, and come up with something if we have to, and then go back to TPZ for a reapproval.
Okay. So Ned, probably the
All
best
right,
bet
thank
is getting with Bruce then.
All right. That sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, Ned. Thanks.
All right.
It's your first public comment in a long time, so I appreciate that.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Okay, I think we've pretty much gone through everything here then.
That was historic.
Okay.
So what's our next meeting?
Maybe you guys
just had
could use a
full-
DOT engineer on the committee. I don't know.
Maybe we could. I think.
Probably could. I think it's always
Well, I just-
good to have.
What did I just say? 5:11.
May 11th?
5:11.
Okay. All right, great. Well, if we have a move to adjourn, we can see everybody on 5:11.
Motion.
All right.
Do I have a second?
Thank you, guys.
Good night, guys.
Thank you.
Okay,
Hey, good night.
we're adjourned. Thanks, everyone.